Hey guys, welcome back to Stock My Closet. For today's project, I have taken 2 meter cotton fabric and this is the measurement I'm using. You can adjust it according to your requirement. I'll start with the skirt cutting, and for that I have folded the fabric by half in width and then by half in length. So here I have 4 layers of fabric. I've taken open side on the top and on full side on the bottom side. Now I'll mark the measurements. On the top, leave ½ inch for seam allowance. Now for waist, take hip round measurement, add ease and divide it by 4. In my measurement, hip round is 40 inch. I'm adding 4 inch of ease. 40 plus 4 is 44 and dividing it by 4, I'll get 11 inch. Now from waist, mark 7.5 inch downwards. Waist to hip measurement, and for hip, take hip round measurement, add ease and divide it by 4. In my measurement, hip round is 40 inch. I'm adding 8 inch of ease. So 40 plus 8 is 48 and dividing it by 4, I'll get 12 inch. Now I'll mark the length, that is 28.5 inch, including 1.5 inch for seam allowance, ½ inch for the top and 1 inch for the bottom. Now join waist to hip and extend that line till bottom. Measure length and mark the same length on the opposite side. And join this point to the bottom with the curved ruler, adding 1 inch of seam allowance on the sides. So I've added seam allowance on the sides. Bottom seam allowance is already included in the length. With this marking is complete, now I'll cut it out. Measure bottom width to cut the ruffle. So this is on fold and width is 15.5 inch. So I have cut out the ruffle. I have taken whole width of fabric and I have cut 2 strips of fabric. Width is 5 inch. And I have also cut out the belt. Belt length is equal to the skirt waist. So this is on fold and I have cut belt in 2 pieces. So here I have 4 layers of fabric. Belt width is 3.5 inch and I'll be adding 1 inch wide elastic. And with this, cutting of skirt is complete. Now I'll stitch it. Firstly, I'll finish the bottom round, and for that just double fold the seam allowance and make a stitch on the inner edge to secure it. So I finished the bottom round, and now I'll stitch the side fitting seam, and for that join front and back right sides together and stitch the side fitting seam. Now I'll prepare the ruffle. On the bottom side, I'll make the finishing seam, and on the top side, firstly I'll finish the seam and then I'll make the basting stitch to add gathers. I've cut ruffle in 2 pieces, so firstly I'll join them together, and for that just join both pieces right sides together and make a stitch. Now to finish the bottom round, again double fold the seam allowance. Here I have taken ½ inch for seam allowance and make a stitch on the inner edge to secure it. So I finished the bottom round and this is how it will look. Now you can use the same method to finish the top side. Here I'm folding 1/4 inch of seam allowance once and I'm making zigzag stitch. So I made a stitch and this is how it will look. Now I'll make the basting stitch, and for that just select the highest stitch length on your sewing machine and make a straight stitch. So I made a stitch. Now I'll pull the bobbin thread to add gathers. Gently pull the thread and move the gathers towards the center. Now I have made side fitting seam on one side and I have kept one side open. So I have prepared the ruffle, and similarly I have prepared another ruffle of contrast color. Now to attach the ruffle, mark a point at 3 inch upwards from the bottom round and at 5 inch for another ruffle. Now it's totally your choice. However you want to place the ruffle, you can mark points accordingly. You can keep the gap of 3 to 4 inch between two ruffles. I just want to overlap my ruffles, so I have marked a point at 3 inch and 5 inch. So you can take it as per your choice. On this line, I'll attach contrast color ruffle. So I'll just match the top edge with this line and I'll pin up the ruffle. So I've pinned it up, and now on this line I'll attach another ruffle. So I've pinned up both ruffles and now I'll make a stitch to secure them. So here I have used 2 stitches to secure the ruffle, and I have used contrast color thread so you can see it properly. This is one method to attach the ruffle. Now I'll attach second ruffle and I'll show you another method. Here I'll make a stitch at the gap of 1/2 inch. So I made a stitch and this is how it will look. So you can use any method to attach the ruffle, it's your choice. Now I'll make the side seam, and for that again we have two methods. You can simply join right sides together and make the side stitch, or you can make side stitch on the skirt and the ruffles separately and then make the top stitch on the ruffle to attach it with the skirt. So I made a stitch and now join end points of the ruffle and pin it up. So I have pinned up both ruffles and now I'll make the side stitch, and lastly I'll make the top stitch on the ruffle to attach it with the skirt. Now I'll attach the belt. I have cut belt in two pieces. So firstly I'll stitch them together. And now place right side of belt on the wrong side of the skirt. And now I'll make a stitch all around the waist. So I made a stitch. And I have folded and ironed 1/4 inch of seam allowance on the top side of the belt. Now fold the belt by half like this and pin it up. Similarly, I'll pin up the whole belt and I'll make a stitch on the edge to secure it. While stitching, leave around 1 inch of space to insert the elastic. So I made a stitch. Now I'll insert the elastic. I've inserted the elastic. Now join both ends and make few stitches to secure the elastic. And now stretch the elastic and close the opening. And lastly, I'll make 2 to 3 stitches on the belt. It will keep the elastic in place and it will also distribute gathers all around the waist equally. And with this, my ruffle skirt is ready and this is how it looks. It's another beautiful variation of A-line skirt. You can add ruffles and you can also increase or decrease the length of skirt. Do give it a try, and if you have any query you can ask me in the comment section. Thanks for watching guys. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week. Till then, take care. Bye bye.